So we're back where we all started 20 years ago. Why here?
I grew up in London, and as a child my father worked in the West End, and I remember coming into Soho and Chinatown to see him at lunchtime on the school holidays. And Soho always had a sort of special place in my heart. As a teenager, it was the first place I came to a nightclub, the old Marquee Club, which is sadly no longer with us. And we used to come in with all my friends from North London and shop in the record stores, black market records, and the various music outlets sort of there selling merchandise and stuff. So it was always a melting pot of cultures, and it was somewhere we were all fascinated by. And funnily enough, a number of my childhood friends, by in their early 20s, we were all working in Soho. It's a great place to be, and it's somewhere that's always been very special.
Where exactly? Is it top floor?
The Ann Summers up there. It's on the second floor with a view of the brick wall, so it was overlooking at the back, the first ever office. Then we moved to that one with the blind halfway up, and then had the 3-window one on the first floor directly above Ann Summers.
I imagine a brothel for a neighbour?
Yeah, I mean, still pretty much is the same now, a massage parlour, but there was more peep shows, and everything else was very different in many respects there. But it was a great fun environment. The office had a number of film directors in it and small start-up companies, and we all got along pretty well. So it was fun.
Thanks. So we're here outside the Soho branch. Tell us, what value do you put on remaining independent in this area as an estate agent?
There's a number of corporate agencies around here, and they have a very set structure in how they operate and what they do. I think we understand the needs of clients and work with them. So what they need, what they want, and we tailor our services accordingly. I think the culture within the business is one with a very low staff turnover. So our guys and girls who work here are incredibly knowledgeable about the areas that they operate in, and that's not just in terms of property values, it's in terms of amenities and what's going on and where to be and where to go. And what our clients like is time and time again, year after year, they can pick up the phone and it's the same person answering to their call and helping with them with their problems. So I think it's something that is hard for a corporate to match.
I agree. The area, tell us about the kind of main developments that stuck out for you.
In many ways, Soho's kind of unrecognisable. I think that was highlighted particularly to me by a former colleague who'd emigrated and came back to visit. And we're standing on Broadwick Street, and that building was different. That was different. That's now a hotel, what used to be an artist shop. The building here, which now houses luxury apartments and a lot of social housing, it was a police hostel. To him, he almost thought he was lost, despite having worked in that office for 5 years. The scale of development across all types of buildings has been everywhere, really, to see. Lots of nice luxury flats, lots of social housing projects, and a lot of the businesses have evolved and changed. And when you walk around the streetscape, ground floor level, it's very different from how it was 20 years ago.
Are you seeing lots of build to rent? Is that in this area? Or
not so much build to rent, but there's a lot of things owned by institutional landlords which are highly unlikely to be sold.
Okay. So we're here at St Anne's Churchyard, and it's often said there's no community in London. Do you agree with that?
No, I think it's people in London are busy, and there is an element of rushing around, and sometimes you do wonder where they're rushing to. But I think when you're in a community and immerse yourself within it, there's an incredible community across the villages of London. I mean, here we are at St Anne's Churchyard in Soho, where once a year there is a Soho food feast where all of the restaurants and bars donate not only their time but food to this amazing fete, which raises a tremendous amount of money for the local school. We're talking £50,000 in a weekend. We've been a part of that committee that helps organise it for a number of years, and it's made a massive difference to the lives of children, the playground that we managed to buy for these kids, the first beneficiaries are no longer at the school. It will be there forever. It costs about £200,000, and it's special for the children in this area to have somewhere to be able to go out and play safely. It's the same in many other of the London villages. It's not just Soho with a great community. You see different types of communities. Bloomsbury has a very big academic community and a great student population and thrives in that respect. So I think if you came as a tourist, well, there you go, just on time. If you came as a tourist, you could be forgiven for thinking everyone's in a rush, no one has time for anyone. But when you live in the area, you will find some warm and lovely people who can't do enough to help you.
Nice. So what made you start your second branch in this particular location?
Well, we'd always traditionally done a lot of work in the Bloomsbury market. And what we were finding in particular on the sales front was the values in Soho had risen to such a point where people were kind of disappointed with what their budget would get them. And we would bring them over here, and quite often they would see, hang on, there's an extra bedroom in this for me. Bloomsbury is an area that I kind of believe that unless you're connected to the university or you're a regular visitor of the British Museum, it's an area that people don't often come to. And the amenity value that it offers and value for money really made people start saying to us, I'm not sure that I want to be in Soho anymore. I kind of like Bloomsbury because it's a great area that I can dip into and dip out of.
Yeah.
So here we are where we set up in Judge Street.
Go on, we're in Soho Square. What are the highlights of your career to date and your 20 years of Greater London properties?
It's hard to pin it down to one or two really, but I think I guess any small business when they first start is getting through the first year and still be trading, and the growth we saw, which was quite rapid. I mean, we moved offices within our original location 3 times, and from the smallest to the largest in the building, so that was always quite an achievement, knowing that there had been a lot of companies that had been in that building for a long while and were still where they were. I guess the first massive highlight would have been moving into Broadwick Street, our Soho headquarters, which was fantastic, and opening up the second office sort of really moved us to multi-site agency. Other highlights, I'd say some of the businesses that we've won along the way, some of the large estates and landed portfolios have been special. But I'd say a personal highlight really is seeing the development of individuals within the team. Many have been with us 10 or more years, and some came in a very junior capacity and now head up teams. And it's been wonderful to see them blossom and grow into new roles. So much so, many of them I have to go and ask advice from now.
And working with your wife?
Most of the time.